This is a 2009 BMW 128i E82 chassis. We're installing a backup camera on this car. In part 1, we got the camera installed into the trunk lid. We left the camera wiring hanging in the trunk. In this video, we're going to see what we have to do to route this wiring all the way into the body through this grommet and into the front of the car to connect it to the head unit. This is the box that the camera came in. I'll include a link and a part number in the video description. This same camera will fit a wide range of models: E82, E88, E84 1 Series, E90, E91, E92, E93 3 Series, E60 and E61 5 Series. It'll also fit X5 and X6. It's a very versatile camera, but the details of the installation may vary from this video for these other models. This is the wiring that was included with the camera. Let's take a closer look. We have two wire harnesses here. This is the power harness, and it has a red wire and a black wire. The red wire is to be connected to a 12-volt source, and the black wire is to be connected to a ground. And this connector right here, this goes into the power connector for the camera, which is the red one. This is the video signal wire, and this plug connects to the video signal for the camera. And then we have these yellow wires on either end. I'm going to tell you exactly how to connect these wires. This is the power wire for the camera, and its red wire goes to a 12-volt power source that is switched on when you shift into reverse, and the black wire goes to a ground. This yellow wire must go to the same power source that switches on the camera. 12 volt comes all the way from this end at the camera, same place that the camera is powered, and all the way back to the head unit trigger wire. So the head unit will know that the camera has been powered, and it will switch to the camera for the display. So with that all said, let's see how we can make it happen on this car. These wires coming out of the camera are not long enough to reach to this grommet that goes into the body. So what we're going to have to do is take one end of this camera signal wire and run it through this grommet, up the trunk, and to the location of the camera. We're going to do the same thing with the power wire for the camera. We're going to run it through the grommet, into the trunk lid, and up to the location of the camera up here. I've pried these grommets out of both ends, the trunk and the body end, and I've pulled back this carpeting. Now I can feed the wire through there, then through the grommets, and all the way up. So what I've done here is I've taken a long zip tie. I've run this loop of wire through the end of the zip tie. Then I've pushed the zip tie all the way through the grommet, and now I can pull this loop of wire all the way through the grommet. Okay, here you can see I've pulled the loop all the way through, and now I just have to identify which end of the wire I want to pull on to pull it all the way through the grommet and out this end. I'll just put a little bit of grease on this, and it'll make it slip through easier. So there it is. My connector has pulled all the way through here, and the wire is coming out the other end, and the power and ground can be connected on the car side. And in case you didn't believe it, here is the end of the zip tie here, and here is the other end looped against the wire, and all we have to do is put a little dab of grease on that end there and pull it through. Now for the next step, I've taken a piece of flexible wire, and it's actually like a throttle cable wire or a parking brake wire, and I've just pushed it through from the area of the grommet all the way through under the fascia of the trunk, and I'm going to use it to pull these wires through. You can see my guide wire, you can see my tape, you can see the yellow BNC connector, and I've pulled it through. There's a very annoying spot weld right here that I'm pointing at, and it's kind of a struggle to get past through here because this spot weld is kind of in the way, but you can get it through. You can get it through. You can see I've got both ends connected to the camera. Now what do I do with this trigger wires? One option is that I can separate these ground and power wires and then splice this into the power wire. But I don't want to risk damaging these delicate wires. I just don't feel like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run an extension wire for this trigger wire all the way back through. Let me show you. Conveniently, I have some extra yellow wire here. I'm going to fish it through the grommet with the zip tie like I did with the other wires. Then I'm going to run it through up here and connect it to the end of this yellow wire. So there I've crimped the yellow wire end. This is a very solid crimp. These are my crimping tools, and if you're going to do any electronics or wiring or even engine harness wiring on your car, I recommend that you get something like this. These are the ends of the power wire and the ground wire and the yellow trigger wire, and they've been fed through the body, through the grommet, and all the way up through the trunk to the camera. I've reseated the grommet on both ends. I've reseated very securely. You want to make sure this is tight so it remains watertight. I'm going to loop these with some zip tie and tuck them away. And this has a nearly OEM look. You won't even be able to see anything passing through here. These are my assistants who've been helping me with this project. And we're going to stop this video at this point, and then we'll resume with the next part where we wire it up and run it through the car to the front.